SpongeBob, my boy. SpongeBob.
Bab, my boy.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. So, this is Antonio and I. We haven't done an episode in a long time. You and I.
Yeah, we haven't done yeah, the three of us have really haven't sat down and
Yeah.
gotten it. It's been all like mostly individual
Yeah. It's
episodes,
either you
but
or me in completely separated rooms or situations,
yeah,
which is kind of. I mean, it's great in its own right because it's like you get to do your thing, I do my thing, and sometimes they're the same thing. Like we're interviewing people, and sometimes it's just me babbling and then you talking to other people. Um,
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
so But welcome to today's episode. If you're listening to for the first time, this is Facts Not Included Tangent Friday, or kind of our main show. It's become our main show. It used to not be our main show, but it's just the easier
Sure.
thing to do. You know, it's just you just get up behind the mic, talk about what's on your mind, what's the news that's going around, and that's what we do here. So I'm Peter, and I'm with Antonio. Antonio, how you doing?
Hey, yo, what to do?
Hey yo,
I don't
what to
know what I'm
do?
doing.
I like
I don't
that.
know. I don't. I don't know. I don't know what that was,
I like
but
that. I
yeah,
respect that. If you are listening because of the fact you've been listening due to our interviews, I respect that. And I encourage you to stay listening to us rambling about not interviews. I encourage that. I also encourage you to listen to uh, uh, further down the catalog of our old shows. Um,
yeah.
it blew my mind the other day. I was going through our analytics. On one day alone, we had like 200 and something plus downloads on one day. And I don't know what that was. I don't know
Mm.
what that was. Maybe it was like some sort of bot service, you know? It's like
Hey, man.
we're cataloging all your stuff, so we're gonna download it. I don't know what happened there, but I was excited because then the next day we only had like 30 something fucking downloads. So I was excited. Um,
Well, whoever you are, and or
it.
thanks for listening. We appreciate it. To be honest,
No, we
like
really do.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it blew my mind. So, yeah. So, if you have listened to the recent episode, Flower Koji, her first name is what? I forget.
Cool.
Ko. Her first name is
Yeah.
Ko. It fits in because there's a if you remember correctly, it has something to do with some definition in
Korean.
Korean.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it,
Korean
it
term.
works out.
Yeah.
It's like flower rain or something. Was that what it was? I think so, right?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I believe so. I believe
So,
that's what.
genius name. I just kept calling her that because I just thought it was a genius name. You know, something that's so beautiful like flowers, and something that's so for some people depressing, in rain. Kind of mix that together. It's kind of awesome. So, if you listened to that episode, thank you. If you haven't, go check that out right now. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about a couple of different topics. I feel like there's I don't know which one we should go with first, but there's something happened to us last week.
Oh yeah, that was weird, man. Like that
We
was
may or
super
may not
weird.
have been stalked and or almost died. So I feel like that should be towards the end of this episode. I feel like that's where we
Yeah, yeah. That's where we end
that's
it.
where we
We'll,
end
we'll
this.
tease it. We'll tease it.
Big tease.
We'll,
If you want to find out how we almost died, jump to. I'm not going to tell you the timestamp. We're also going to
oh
talk about Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, or Sonic the movie, as it's called. Then the very tragic death that actually just occurred today. Yes, we are taping this earlier. Of Pop Smoke, an up and coming rap artist that has tragically passed away. Some Ben Affleck
yeah.
news and some
Jeez.
SpongeBob news that just dropped a couple of hours ago. Again, if there's news that comes out after today and it's like massive, of course we're going to try to cover it and throw it into this episode. But just a full disclosure, we are taping on a Wednesday. Anyway, so I think the first bit of news we should discuss is Sonic. I mean, this is a movie that was supposed to come out in 2019, in like
Yeah,
what November or
I believe so.
September,
I
something like
believe
that.
that was the original slate. Yeah.
The trailer came out, I think, in February of last year, and then people just freaked
Destroyed it.
out.
Yeah, they destroyed it.
Um,
They destroyed it.
I mean, granted, we were one of those people. I know.
Well, yeah, like yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like I, I made fun of it, but it was like to me, it was more like okay, this is what they're gonna do. Every time they do something like that's derived from a video game or from a comic book, if it's not like Marvel or DC for the most part,
Right.
it ends up coming out kind of weird, and it's just a personal interpretation of it.
Yeah. Well,
But
yeah,
it
yeah.
was crazy how much the backlash was,
Well,
considering like not too many people like really care for Sonic. Like honestly, like to be honest, I don't think most people really care for Sonic, especially since Sega has drowned that franchise through the ground, and people just got fed up with it.
yeah, yeah.
But
Well,
whatever.
I think there a couple things you brought up there. Do people care about Sonic? I guess it depends on who you ask. You're right. Yeah, the
Yeah.
average Joe Schmo is probably gonna be like, well, if they're gonna make a movie about a video game, they should make it about X, Y, Z, and maybe Sonic is not mentioned in that discussion. But I do slightly disagree that I think a lot of people care about Sonic, but yeah, he's definitely not on the radar of a lot of people. As much maybe not anymore as he was maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago. But my point of view of when all this happened last year about the whole, oh my God, why does he look that way? I had 2 points. One, my point was, yeah, why does he look that way? That's absolutely disgusting in comparison to what modern Sonic looked like, in a sense. Maybe post I don't know, 97,
Post Sonic 06.
Yeah, well, even some of the graphics from the 90s, he looked like from the 2000s. But my point is, he didn't quite look like he should have looked. And my flip side point was to everyone that was upset. I mean, not to everyone that was to Sega and to whoever else made the movie, Paramount, is stick behind your artist. Your artist made that decision, or you guys made that decision. Stick to it.
Yeah.
Have some artistic integrity and be like, I have some balls here, and we're not gonna move.
I heard this rumor, right? When that first dropped, I heard the rumor that the amount of like how fast they went with changing their whole entire his design,
Right.
was kind of like a play. Like it was kind of like it was planned to do it that way, right? Like that was the rumor that I heard going around. Like, oh, they did this on purpose to generate a lot of controversy, to generate a lot of publicity, and then they go and then they say they're going to change it, and then it generates a lot better publicity. Like
Right.
you know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah,
That's what I heard. But
I heard that too.
I don't think that's the case. Seeing how, again, I don't know for sure, but I heard that the studio that did the redesign, it cost them so much money or whatever, and then like kind of folded underneath the fact that it took them forever and like such like a all that stuff and so I don't know.
I don't know those details, whether or not the company folded, whether or not the company went bankrupt.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
that's what I've heard.
But on the, I don't believe that conspiracy theory, and I don't think you do either. But
no, I don't know.
I think what's important is to something that you brought up, which is extremely important here, is that it costs so much money to fix an issue like that, and there's no studio in their right mind would want to go through that issue of redesigning and to go possibly bankrupt or lose a ton of money. What I think the artist's rendering was, again, I don't know if the artist has ever spoke on this or whatever, the artists. I think they just try to make Sonic look like he would look like in the real world as much as he would. And that was their best rendition without going completely real Hedgehog and without getting too far away from what the actual design was. And it looked a little Uncanny Valley type of stuff. It looked a little freaky. It looked like a little boy in a suit. But I am glad they changed it. Did they? And I think you and I and even Mike brought this idea up. I don't know who it was. Was it me first, or whoever? But did they only change the design, or did they add or take away from the movie in that process? Because question is this the same movie that we would have gotten when it was originally supposed to be released, or did they do some reshoots in terms of, I don't know, certain jokes or certain scenes? or is this the exact same movie and it's just tweaked a little bit in terms of Sonic? So I'm curious about that. But overall, I think it's a fantastic movie, and it looks like audiences around the world gravitated towards to go see it, especially in January. You got to remember, late. I know I keep saying it's not a January release; it's a February release, but that effect of January is still played in here because not many people go to the movies in the beginning of the year, and so it did bonkers. Domestically, $75 million. It's currently at right now.
It beat out Birds of Prey. What else? What else did it beat out? I saw something that ring regards with that.
I don't know.
Let me try to double check that.
I got it right here. Beat out Birds of Prey, Fantasy Island, and The Photograph for the week of February 14th to the 16th. The weekend, sorry. So from Friday to Sunday. So it beat out, well, Birds of Prey was in its second week at that point. Fantasy Island was in its first week. Photograph was in its first week. Of course, it beat out Bad Boys for Life, 1917, Parasite, and Jumanji, and Dolittle, which is sadly underperforming. But it made $58 million domestically on its first weekend. For a movie in February to do that, granted, I know Deadpool did that. I think it came out in February, right? Or something like that. Some movie came. Black Panther, right? Was a movie that came out in February that did bonkers, of course. Different caliber type of movie, of course. But again, for a movie that has had so many, I guess, plagued struggles since its announcement in terms of the look of Sonic, for it to do almost $60 million on its first weekend is insane. Especially people thinking it was going to suffer just because of the way he looked.
That's true. I do you also think, because the reason why we went to go watch the movie, besides the fact that I think you and I wanted to watch it, just because we wanted to watch it, was also the fact too, we're not sponsored by them, but like T-Mobile Tuesdays, like it was a $4 movie ticket.
That is true.
Right.
That is very true.
So I know as of right now, T-Mobile's like the third largest carrier, maybe second nowadays. I'm not sure, but like in the US. So do you think like because of the $4 movie ticket, it like kind of like helped them with sales and stuff? Like, do you think that might have done something?
I'm sure there was the select few people that did go on the opening weekend because of that. I'm sure of that. Mm-hmm. But you have to remember, Justice League had that same ticket type thing. They had a $4 ticket. Yeah. Knives Out had the same type. Wonder Woman. What else movies have done? There's been quite a number of movies that had that type of flair. Justice League failed at the box office for its opening weekend. It should have made bonkers amount of money. It did not. Wonder Woman did exceedingly well. Whatever. Knives Out did, I guess, pretty good for a movie like Knives Out. Would Sonic have done better or worse? I don't know. I don't know. I think it might have helped. The question is, how much did it add?
It didn't hurt it. It didn't hurt it.
Definitely didn't hurt it. Definitely didn't hurt. But how much did it add, though? I don't think we'll ever know, really. But I know I didn't use my $4 ticket because of my AMC thing.
Right.
I was like, why am I going to waste money on a movie I might not like? I'd rather get my free ticket, even though I'm technically paying for it. But yeah, like, I don't know. I think you're right. It didn't hurt it. Did it help it? Maybe not. I don't know. But the question is, how is it going to do its second weekend? It's projected that it's going to be number one again, just because Call of the Wild is coming out. The Harrison Ford movie?
Chewie. We're going all to Alaska.
Chewie.
We're home.
Yeah. CGI Chewie. So it looks like it's going to be number one again. Fantasy Island's probably going to be number, I don't know, 2 or 1. I mean, a 2 or 3, like it was last week. Birds of Prey. Who knows what it's gonna make? I haven't seen it yet. I know you've seen it.
I have seen it.
And you said it's okay. It's not a must see.
Yeah. I'm just gonna. I kind of don't want to do a review for it, to be honest with you. But I will speak on it just so if people are interested in watching it. I think it's. Would I pay the normal ticket price for it? No. And I did. That's the thing. It's a movie. I'm gonna be completely honest. From my opinion, it's a movie that if it's on Netflix, you watch it. If it's on Amazon Prime, you watch it. Or if you have the DC stuff, you watch it on there. Don't. I'm sorry. I know they did, like, they tried their best, but like the movie in the beginning is super convoluted. It makes zero sense, and then it comes back to where it go. It's too many jumping of points until like the very end of it, where it makes sense.
Okay.
And it just like again, it's like you're expecting them to have a DCU, right? Like that's what you're expecting from this movie, because they reference Suicide Squad a lot.
Yeah.
They reference Batman a lot. But it's just really funny for them to reference them and then like cut them out. Like there are literal scenes from Suicide Squad with Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn and Jared Leto's Joker, but they cut out like Jared Leto's Joker. Like it's like a bad crop.
So like there'll be a scene where he they just don't show him, but they show her with him in there, but he's not there.
It's you want to, because you've seen Suicide Squad, and whoever has it's been forever.
Oh, listen, it's been what, 3 years or something.
Yeah. It's literally the scene where
the helicopter or something.
No, it's the
that's my favorite scene.
It's the
the breakout scene.
No, it's the scene where she gets pushed into the vat of
yes,
acid.
Yes,
like and it's literally cut from Suicide Squad to be put in this movie as a quote unquote flashback.
Right.
But it's weird because they literally cut, like, you kind of see like half of Jared Leto's face.
Oh,
like,
so they didn't have to pay him.
Talking about?
Nice.
Yeah. They literally just like cut him out.
Wow. That's so interesting.
And the reasoning why like she leaves Joker in this movie is just kind of stupid.
Sure.
It's kind of like he kicked her out.
Oh. Not even like he tried to kill her or he tried to abuse her.
No, yeah.
Which is what their relationship is. So.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
It was more like he kicked me out. He's a piece of shit for doing that. But yeah, it's just weird. I wouldn't, if I was a regular moviegoer and it was interested in. Surprisingly though, the movie theater was kind of packed. It was kind of packed for that. Yeah,
I mean,
it was actually kind of packed.
Where'd you see it, in Queens?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's not completely unsurprising. Only because I don't know, like that the story. I'm trying to think of like, is that the like what movie would they have seen that evening? You know, like what crowd would have seen the other movies?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
There really isn't anything really out now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it's either you go see Sonic or you go see what's the movie? Harley Quinn's Birds of Prey, as it's called now, because they wanted to change the name. Yeah, because I mean, Fanny Silent looks interesting, but it doesn't look like I'll go see it. The Photograph is another one of those. Oh, it's a romantic movie. If you haven't seen Bad Boys for Life now, you're probably not going to see it yet at this point. And same with every other movie.
Really good.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, I'm sure it's really good. That's one of those movies I'll wait till it comes out on VOD or anything like OTT stuff. So, yeah. And listen, Knives Out still in theaters, people. Go check it out. If not, you're going to spend $20 at home to own it. So go check that movie out because part 2 is coming eventually. So anyway, so that's our discussion of Sonic. I think that was really an interesting insight about like what people thought, I guess.
Yeah.
Of what to talk about.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I'm just gonna jump in on that. It's surprisingly a very good movie. I'm telling everybody this so far who hasn't seen it or is interested in seeing it. If you're interested in watching it, watch it because it's actually a pretty good movie. And like while you're watching it, this is what I told Pete and Mike when we saw it uh, on on Valentine's Day. It was a very. It was, I'm throwing it out there because we saw it on Valentine's Day. Like
I
it was
just
just
love
like
that. That's what we did on Valentine's Day.
yeah. You know, in the theater, I went to Mike. So this is what I've become.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing on
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. Jim Carrey really like
Oh.
had a ball with this
Absolutely.
role, and you could tell, and it's like really fun to watch. It's a fun movie to watch if you're, you know, it's a good kids movie too. So if you want to bring your kid, if you have them,
Yeah.
I'd recommend it.
It reminds me of like when Will Smith did Suicide Squad. Looked like he had a lot of fun making that movie. And the same thing here. I think it goes with that. There's no denying that at all. Same thing with like Billy D doing Rise of Skywalker. It's like these guys had a ton of fun making these movies or the movie. So yeah, good point there. I think it's maybe a resurgence for Jim Carrey going forward, doing a bunch of things in the future now. So let's talk about some news, I guess, that just came out. Some news that we've been, talking about. It's a trailer that we saw while watching Sonic, and this is SpongeBob news. I know you're probably like, why are we still talking about SpongeBob 20 years later? It's because he's still amazing. He's still great. Still a great show. I don't keep up as much as I used to. I used to tout the fact that I was the ultimate SpongeBob fan growing up, as I thought
Really?
I thought I was, and then I met other people, and they were quoting lines and quoting like episodes with my cousin. Any episode, still to this day, you put on any episode, and she'll recite the whole episode. Okay?
Wow.
She's insane. Anyway, news just came out that SpongeBob, if you guys don't know this, the new movie's coming out later this year. Was it The Search for Gary or something like that it's called? There's a scene in the movie where he meets Gary in this trailer. And then, it's fast forward to now Gary's gone. SpongeBob is modern day SpongeBob, whatever. But Nickelodeon just announced a prequel series called Camp Coral, SpongeBob's Under Years. It's coming to Nickelodeon in July of this year. 13 episodes of CG animated glory, it says. All with the original voice cast. The series will follow a 10-year-old SpongeBob, which is strange because I don't even know if they've ever confirmed his age. So at least now we know he's 10 in this series.
Technically, I think they have. I mean, like subtly, like when he got his driver's license, it says his date of birth on it.
I think you're right.
You could.
So
they haven't really openly said like how old he really is, but like they kind of like.
Yeah, but okay, so I'd say the year, but does that categorize that the series is taking place in modern time? I don't know.
I don't know. That's a
So
good question.
the series will follow a 10-year-old SpongeBob alongside all of your favorite characters during one fateful summer at Camp Coral, where they'll be building underwater campfires, catching with wild jellyfish, and swimming in Lake Yucky Muck at the craziest camp in Kelp Forest.
Wait. Hold up. All our favorite characters are returning.
Well, this is what
doesn't make sense.
This is what this person wrote. Canonically, if you're going to be a stickler for SpongeBob canon, which I don't know how many people there are that are, but clearly you are. Yeah, I'm sure there's a couple characters that shouldn't be allowed in this. Like Sandy is an automatic no.
Mr. Krabs, automatic no.
Mr. Krabs is definitely an automatic no. He doesn't meet SpongeBob until SpongeBob becomes a fry cook. Squidward as well, but I mean, it's like how do you not do this show without Squidward? I'm sure. I mean, there's obvious ways you can, but I'm just saying, like, fan favorite, right?
A character that I can see myself seeing in that show is Patrick, because they've been best friends forever.
Absolutely.
So if you don't have Patrick in that show, then it's like it's weird.
I'm sure he'll be.
But like, yeah.
Again, Sandy's automatic no for me, and Mr. Krabs automatic no. Squidward, maybe they did know each other growing up and didn't know each other. You know what I'm saying? That happens. They can get around that. I love how I'm fighting for this.
I love it.
But I think the big thing here is that it's going to be CG animated SpongeBob, which is what I said when we watched the trailer was I want to see more of that. And it looks like we're going to see more of that in July, so I'm very happy for that. So, are you excited? Are you going to start watching SpongeBob again in July?
I mean, if it like, honestly, like, I'm gonna check it out. I don't personally. I like the CGI stuff for the movie. I don't know if I'd like it for a whole show, but then again, they're doing it as a prequel, so it's probably going to be like, oh, remember that flashback, and then they just pick up from like the movie. So I get it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you know what I probably think this whole show is though.
What?
They probably were like storyboarding it for the movie, and they were like Nickelodeon was like, yo, that'd be a cool concept, and like you know they were like, yeah, and then they wrote stories for it, and they just kind of like took like just the beginning of it for the movie, and then now they're going with this because of the fact of it might be CGI too. They probably like animated everything out, and they were like, oh, this is mad, this is cool, this is fun, people would like this. And while they're making that movie, that's my theory. It's just a theory.
No,
game theory. No, I'm sorry. Again, not sponsored.
I love that guy.
Again, not sponsored.
I love that guy. Film theory, game theory. He does some great stuff. Check out his YouTube channel. Even though enough people watch his YouTube channel to the point where you probably already know who we're talking about. Anyway, that's a good point. They probably did a lot of like rough stuff and whatever. To the point where it was like, well, we wasted all this money on it. We might as well use it. And it comes out 2 months after the movie comes out. So it's more than enough time to people have checked out the movie, or kids, I guess. And then more than enough time to like get ready for July because this is, excellent point. So there's our SpongeBob news. I'm excited. I think I think our good friend Matt Conklin is excited. I think he's a big SpongeBob fan. I've heard him reference it a couple of times. But at work, he always references Family Guy. So, there's that.
Yeah, he's been on a Family Guy kick a lot.
It's his new drug. So anyway, let's talk about something that came into the news sphere. Ben Affleck. Some stuff came out today, or whatever you want to say we recorded this. So Ben Affleck, I think it's per New York, not the New York Times. Yeah, New York Times, reveals some candid information about his life. But what we're going to mainly talk about is some Batman stuff that's in there.
Yeah.
I can't, I haven't read the actual full article, so apologies for those that are like, you got it wrong, man. He didn't actually say that. What he really said was... All right, hold on, because I didn't read the whole thing. I'm just reading what the Hollywood Reporter talked about. If you have read the article, Antonio, you could tell me more. But if you didn't, it's fine. I only have one big quote from it that has to do with Batman.
I know that quote. That was the big thing that like I saw a lot of news outlets picked up.
Yeah, so this is no real big surprise. Ben Affleck isn't the talk of the town. He's not the easiest guy to work with, and he hasn't always been. And part of his problem was alcohol. And in this interview, he confronts that. He states that he had an alcohol problem and it ruined a lot of things. And even until recently, it ruined some things for him. And so, I think that's pretty, not revealing, but it's pretty awesome for someone to confront their demons, and their struggles, and for a guy like him to publicly say that is kind of interesting. The big thing, of course, is back in 2019, I think. Yeah, he finally confirmed that he was leaving Batman, and something that was full. What was it, 18 months of speculation of is he Batman still? Is he not Batman? Don't you remember at San Diego Comic-Con before Justice League, he came out and it was kind of like the most awkward thing in the world, where it was kind of like that was the rumors that had been in the news for a while, and he comes out as Batman on there, and he gives like this weird.
Everyone was like, "What?"
He gives this like weird quoted speech that is kind of like, I don't have it in front of me. It was more or less like, yeah, I'm still Batman forever, and whatever. Like I'm always gonna be Batman, but it was like said in a way that people were like, I I don't know. Maybe the rumors are true. So, uh, the quote here from the New York Times articles is, "I showed somebody the Batman script. They said, I think the script is good. I also think you'll drink yourself to death if you go through what you just went through again." Wow. you know?
Oh, wait, so someone else said that?
Yeah, no. That was, this is Ben saying what someone said to him.
Wow. Okay.
So two things there. Like, people were aware of his alcohol problem. And two, it seemed it was pretty severe. Especially during that time. So Zack Snyder, I'm reading just the article here. Zack Snyder had cast Affleck as Bruce Wayne in 2013 to play in Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. The actor briefly played the character that has been apparently cut out in 2016 Suicide Squad from Harley Quinn's Birds of Prey. And long had plans to write and direct the Batman. But even before Justice League opened to muted results in 2017, cracks were beginning to show in Affleck's future as the Dark Knight. In February 2017, Warner Brothers hired Matt Reeves as the new director because a month before, people don't remember this, but a month before that, Affleck had a movie that had just come out and didn't do that well, or 2 months before, didn't do that well, and that was when the speculation was coming out about, even more speculation coming out about, whoa, wait a minute. He did that movie? Shouldn't he have been writing this? And all this stuff came. And then by July, filmmaker had noted that he had dropped Affleck's script. So by July of 2017, which is roughly around the time when Suicide Squad was in San Diego Comic-Con, Reeves had said, nope, not using that script, which is insane because everybody at the time was like, Affleck's script is the greatest Batman thing ever written. Remember that? Remember everybody was like, it's gonna be the greatest thing. And so sadly, we'll never see that. So, yeah, and then now, Robert Pattinson's going to be playing Batman in what seems to be an extraordinary casted movie. It seems like it's going to be ultra dark, ultra gritty, great. But we're never going to get to see Affleck play Batman again.
Yeah, which that's a really saddening because they have so much setup for like a movie with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's the sad part.
And
but
so, yeah.
I don't know. Like, but I thought when I first heard that news, he said like, "Oh, I'm gonna be drinking." Like,
no.
He said it as himself. Like, I'm gonna be drinking my life away.
No.
By playing this role, and so okay, I'm glad that got cleared up for me because I was like, wow.
Yeah, no.
Crazy.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
So.
He didn't do that. So, I'm trying to figure out more here. I probably should have done more research into this, but it also says in the New York Times article, Affleck never seemed to enjoy his time as Batman. His sullen demeanor while promoting Batman versus Superman in 2016 resulted in the hit meme "Sad Affleck," which
that's a great meme. That's a great meme.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody knows me, a lot of my handles is Sad Batman online. He has not talked much about his alcoholism since completing a third stint of rehab in 2018. But the arrival of The Way Back, which is a new movie, has made the subject impossible to avoid. So it seems like, again, this is something that has plagued him throughout his most of his adult career. And then, again, I'm not going to get into this, but he talks about his divorce and how that's his greatest regret. I'm not going to get into that. Not my business. Nor is the alcohol stuff. I'm just bringing it up because it had to deal with the Batman stuff. But it's just really interesting that I listen, if you know me, he's in, I don't know what top category, top 10, top 20, top 100, whatever. But to me, he's one of the best actors of our generation. I love him in almost any role he does. He's extremely talented. He's a great director, all this stuff. And for someone like him, who's so up there in the stratosphere of famous actors and whatnot, to come out and just be honest. Hey, listen, I've done this in the past. I've done this. I've done that. And, I'm trying to deal with it, Not too many people do that. So I commend him for that. It's pretty awesome,
I mean, you know what they always say, dude? Like, the first step of anything is acceptance,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
and owning it. So the fact that he can own it in a public space, like in an interview that, he knows that media outlets are going to pick it up and like cross, dissect what he's saying is, I think personally, is good on him. It's like it shows growth. Um, Whether or not he's, getting better or is up to him and to his close people around him to say. But if he feels comfortable, like I said before, then that's a step in the right direction, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know there's going to be people that are like, oh, this is just another white person or another famous person, you know, getting some clout or whatever. Yeah.
Grasping for attention type
Yeah.
of shit.
And sure, I'm sure there's some sort of truth to that, but listen, not too many people confront their struggles. He's doing it. I don't care who you are. You could be the bottom of the barrel, top of the barrel. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I applaud you. We're gonna move on to something that's very very sad. I guess for a lot of the world right now, they are struggling with this information. They're dealing with this. I mean, I was affected, even though I've never heard a song from this man. I never even seen his face. I never even heard his name. I'm gonna be honest. Never heard this guy's name. But it hit me to the point where I was like, "Oh damn, that's a little too close to my age." One, two. Two, he's a human being. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
Regardless. And three, like, as I looked more into him, extremely talented guy who was up and coming. Like, it wasn't like he was gonna not make it. It seemed like he could have made it, and became somebody. So of course I'm talking about the death of Pop Smoke as he went by. I don't know his birth name, but
I don't know what his government name is.
I'm actually gonna look that up right now. But Antonio, you being more of the person here that's more into the modern up and coming type of hip hop music artist or whatever you want to call them. As you being that resident guy here on the podcast, and always you're the first one to go like, "Hey guys, I just heard this new song by such and such," and Mike and I look confused. Did you know about this guy? Two, did you like his music? And how this news affect you, man?
So I'm not gonna sit there and lie to the audience. I'm not gonna say I'm a huge fan of Pop Smoke. I recently just found out about him because he literally just dropped a new album. I forgot the name of it, but it was a sequel to I believe his first album, and it was gaining a lot of traction and
Meet the Woo 2. I just looked it up. Meet the Woo 2.
Yeah, there it is. And it was getting a lot of traction. And there was a few songs on there that I've heard through through the radio type of stuff, through just people playing it. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, this guy's really good. And when I found out about the news earlier today, I was like, Mike hit up a chat and he was like, oh, Pop Smoke passed away. And I was like, okay, well, it's unfortunate. I thought it was drug overdose because
wow, that was me that mentioned the death, not Mike.
Yeah. Well, no. Mike texted the.
Oh, the other chat you have.
Yeah.
Yes.
He texted. He mentioned that. And then because like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, he's lying. And then you sent it, and I was like, wait, oh shit.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the Kobe effect, where it was like, oh, it's not really real. But if it like. What's unfortunate is with a lot of these young rappers and a lot of these young guys in the game is they overdose on drugs. So, based on prior experiences, I was like, oh, okay, maybe he just overdosed on drugs. But no, when I found out that he got robbed and murdered in not even like from Queen, not even like in Brooklyn, like where he's from. He's from New York. Like he's a New York artist.
Yeah.
He's super gang affiliated, but that's a story for another time. But it was like I thought it was here because he was like affiliated with such people and stuff. But when you find out it was in Beverly Hills, one of like, I wouldn't say safest neighborhoods, but like it's kind of like you don't expect anything bad to happen
Oh, I mean,
where he
it
was.
says he was living
You
in a
know?
$2.5 million home he was renting.
Yeah,
So
yeah, because he was on tour.
probably a pretty
He was
safe
on.
neighborhood. Who knows?
Yeah, but yeah, and he was literally gonna come here. So if this episode comes out on Friday, he was gonna come here on Sunday, I believe, because he has a show here in New York.
Nice, nice.
Uh, yeah. So yeah, and it's just like it's crazy because the dude was 20 years old and he just released an album. He was gaining that traction. He was getting to becoming that next superstar, kind of like like Lil Pump and like all these other big
Yeah.
guys in the game right
Yep.
now. You know what I mean? Like he was getting his name out there, and it's just crazy, dude. Like
So
oh,
it
man.
is pretty crazy because it's like, again, you feel for that, knowing that he was making a name for himself. And again, like you said, the album had just dropped on the 7th, so that
Yeah,
was 2 Fridays ago. Well, 3 Fridays ago if you're listening to this on Friday. Um, that's insane, And then all of a sudden he's gone. I'm reading this Los Angeles Times article here. So it says investigators suspect the home where the rapper was staying was targeted by assailants. In recent years, L.A. homes have been that have been rented by musicians have been targets of several home invasions, according to the law enforcement sources. Investigators are aware that the rapper may have inadvertently posted an image with the home's address
yeah,
on social
yeah,
media. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Two accounts apparently, which is unfortunately, if it, I think if it is true, I think it is, but don't quote us here. You're gonna have to find your own facts. But apparently, he posted a photo of him, because he's a young guy who just made it in the rap game. You know what I mean? Like coming from nothing.
yeah.
They tend to flex, like
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I think
And
he
you can't
was
really blame
shush.
somebody for doing
Yeah,
that.
you really can't. If you come from nothing and you make it, and you start making a lot of money, and
Yeah,
you kind of want to, you just want to.
yeah, you're
It's
gonna
just
do it.
it's just natural. So I think one of the pictures was that he was outside posing with the homies and like fancy cars, and then like in front of the house, and in the background you can see
Yeah,
the like the door number.
yeah.
And like all these rappers nowadays, they're always on Instagram live, so like you could tell, okay, so if he was there, blah 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 blah, so that's probably what happened. But another thing, I think one of his managers sent him something, and it had like the address on it somewhere on his like Instagram feed or something like that. And I think he quickly took it down, but you know how the internet is, they quick with that shit. So
Yeah.
someone probably screenshot that real quick.
Here's an interesting connection here. The Hollywood Hills home is owned by Teddy Mellencamp of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, according to
Mm,
property records. She wrote on Instagram that she was informed about the shooting earlier Wednesday by a third party, leasing and management company that oversees the rental property. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, it says the death comes 2 days after his second mixtape, Meet the Woo 2, debuted at number 7 on the Billboard Top 200 list. His breakthrough mixtape, Meet the Woo, released last year with over 280 million streams globally. He
yeah,
was signed to Republic Records through Victor Victor Worldwide, and the record company said, "We are devastated by the unexpected and tragic loss of Pop Smoke. Our prayers and thoughts go out to his family, friends, and fans as we mourn the loss together."
yeah,
It says that the rapper was one of the most promising voices from the New York drill scene, a regional variant of hard-edged gothic sound that originated in Chicago with acts such as Chief Keef, but that also won popularity on the East Coast and in the UK. So he had a very unique
yeah,
styling to him. I gotta check this guy out. I'm always fond of listening to people that my friends tell me about, whether it's you or anyone else.
mhm,
I'm not in the world anymore of finding out new music. Um, so it's always fun when someone tells me about someone that's up and coming or whatever. It's sad that this guy now I'm only gonna get to listen to X amount of songs, but
yeah,
it's still an X amount of songs that I haven't heard before. So I'm excited to hear more about this guy. But it's sad that it's
yeah,
cut so early. But Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
article starts talking about money problems that he said, dealt with over the years, but
Yeah, I
again, I
mean,
think unrelated. I mean, yeah, sure, he had a troubled start, whatever, in his life, but I mean, how many people that come from New York City don't have that? So, irrelevant. The fact of the matter is,
yeah,
he did make it. He made it relatively young, so maybe that had an effect on things. Who knows? But at the end of the day, he's dead, and it sucks that it had to happen. That's the big story here. Not so much that what the article later then reads, which I'm not even going to mention. I'm not even going to read it because I think it's irrelevant. But it sounds to me not gang related, but the article tends to say that the cops think it might be, but it's very possible it's not. But it's very possible it is because, like you said, he had some affiliation with some guys. So who knows? Who knows? But I would like to think no because based on the first thing that they said in the article, which is the homes that are rented by musicians tend to be broken into. So hey,
yeah,
that's probably what
yeah,
happened.
since his passing is super recent, I don't want to start spreading
No,
like
absolutely, yeah,
these rumors and stuff. So I'm not gonna reference any of them, but there are some things going around, and it's just like sad that people have to like think this way,
yeah.
but it's like, what can you do? People are always going to speculate certain stuff
Right,
like
and,
that,
and
and it's
watch.
just like unfortunate.
You're probably listening to this on Friday. News probably came out today or yesterday about what really happened, or whatever. So again, bear in mind, like Antonio said, we are just talking about the news that just came out from today, which is Wednesday, not Friday, about this guy's death. So again, probably old newser at this point, but we just wanted to let you know our thoughts on what we heard. So definitely go check out his music. I mean, if you want to pay respects again to a guy you did or didn't know, the best way to do it is blast his music wherever you listen to music. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, go. No, I was just gonna say, like, even if you don't like his sound or his music or wherever, you know, still give it a shot. I
yeah,
mean, just to understand, because a lot of times people tend to project themselves through their art, and especially through music. It's a lot easier to digest and understand if you listen to certain lyrics, if you understand the small little stuff that happens in it. So it's just like, go out there, check it out. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, then at least you made an attempt.
right.
That's all.
Or maybe like Billie Eilish, she's making everything up. But anyway,
Yeah, no,
so
yeah, well,
so
yeah, fair.
let's move on to I think the creme de la creme of today's episode, which is an interesting story where I thought I died several times. Um,
Yeah, I guess. I
I
mean,
I've never felt so much adrenaline in my life before in a long time. Like,
oh,
you're
okay.
probably all wondering, what are you talking about? Well, we're gonna get to that. Um, and I know Mike's not on here, but I know Mike sometimes is clueless about things that go on around him. But man, I think he was the most clueless about what was going on around him.
I
That
don't. I don't. Maybe.
I
I,
think.
I. I don't know. I don't. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, his response was, "What are you guys so worried about? What's going on?"
Oh,
That was what he said.
I don't remember that. I don't actually
Yeah,
remember him
remember when I
saying
kept
that.
turning around?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I took again. Mike's not here to defend himself, but I took that as Mike didn't even know what was going on. So, but I might be wrong. Maybe Mike has tough fucking skin or something, tougher skin than the both of us.
Yeah, maybe it was
No,
like a
well,
ploy for him.
he wasn't
Like
even affected. It was me that was mostly affected by this than anyone.
that's true. True.
So
I will say it was you. It started kind of like with me though. I would say because he kept looking back at me, and then like we got to a point where it was like super. Well, let's first explain the situation.
yeah,
First, we teased it a little bit
so
earlier.
the night of the night
Sanic.
the night we went to go see Sonic, we left the theater. And we're not let's not give specific locations just in case this nut job is listening. I doubt it. It's very unlikely the guy's listening. But anyway, we were in the city. Went to one of our favorite theaters in the city, and we were like, oh, we just kept walking, and I brought up the idea that I was hungry, and you guys were down for eating, so we get some food and drinks and stuff like that. And so we wound up walking 10 something blocks or whatever down to this place. And okay, so we were. I'll disclose this information. We were on 8th Avenue at some point in the city. I mean Manhattan for those that don't live here. And I was like, okay, so if we make a right at this street, it'll lead us directly to the place. But before that, there was a guy that was walking with us, and I didn't realize at that point he was walking with us until a block or so before we made a turn. I was like, oh, he's a little close. But then I'm thinking, maybe he just wants to step, go past us. As people do. They want to walk a little bit faster. I thought we were walking fast enough. Some people want to go faster.
Yeah. So, especially if you're from New York, or if you're not from New York, you have to understand people in New York walk fast.
You step to the side and you let them go.
Yeah. And that's so to jump on from like my perspective from that point. I was like, oh, this guy wants to walk past you. So I kind of like tapped your shoulder because we were all like mid conversation, the three of us.
So wait,
we were just, like, talking about bullshit.
Was this before we made that right turn?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were aware of this as well.
Yeah, no, because I didn't know he was following us.
Right, no, at that point I didn't know. At that point I didn't know.
Because so like that's why I don't know if you heard me. I was like, oh, Pete, move to the left, or right. So I was like, I kind of grabbed your shoulder or something like that.
Yeah. I didn't realize. Okay.
Yeah. And then you turned around and you saw the guy walk forward. So I was like, okay, that's the end of it. But
so at some point we get to, I think it was like 49th Street, which is 2 blocks before we were supposed to. No, a block before we were supposed to make the turn, or something like that. And I quickly tell you guys, make a right. And at first, I don't know if you both didn't recognize what
Mike
I said.
was confused.
Mike was confused. I know Mike was confused, but I don't know if you were confused. Did you?
I was confused because Mike was confused.
Mike just kept going. So anyway, Mike was a little confused, and Mike was, what? So I was like, make a right. So I don't know if I said it too loud or the guy just saw us move right, and he just went with us right, and he kept going that way. And that was when I realized, oh, he might be following us. Okay, let's see. So as we keep walking down, which is now a long block because we're getting to a new avenue. If you guys know how avenues work, it's a little longer to get to the next one. And so this was going to be a longer bit till we get to the next street. So my point is that we have some time to play with here. So as we're walking, I'm now reading the fact that, okay, he's kind of going left and right on the side of us because, it's 3 people walking. And at this point, you and I were and Mike were talking, and at some point, it got so awkward with the guy around us that our conversation flat out ended. And I started walking on my own for some fucking reason. You started walking on your own. Mike started walking on his own. And it was kind of like we were walking behind each other. It was now it was like a straight line.
It went from horizontal kind of to like vertical. And then you have to understand the block we were on was very like it was very small
and dead.
Like it was like a small one. It was like dead too. So once I noticed that the guy didn't want to speed up and pass you, I kind of was like, okay, something's fucking up.
Right. So
So you kept your walking speed to I'm assuming to make sure like nothing out of the ordinary, and I kind of like pulled back.
I walked back.
Mike was
I was walking a little faster. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. You were keeping same pace, even if not faster.
Yeah, right? Definitely.
And I
faster.
pulled back, and I was like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah.
This guy. After I try to like tell you like move to the side or something, I was like, "Okay, this is weird."
So
this is something's up.
Yeah. At some point, I'm still walking fast. The guy's kind of keeping my pace as well. He's getting close to me. And to the point where he's almost shoulder to shoulder to me, if not shoulder to shoulder to me. And I start going, oh, fuck. I'm going to get stabbed right in the fucking appendix. That's the first thing I thought. Like, I'm not even joking. That's the first thing I thought. No. Because the guy's making sounds. He's not just, like, walking next to me. He's also just going, like sounds like that. And that is, like, concerning. Extremely concerning. And I didn't know what he was going to do. And so at this point, I'm like, okay. So I start slowing down a little bit. He slows down. I start speeding up. He speeds up. He slows down, gets close to Mike a little bit. Slows down. He gets to, I'm turning back a little bit going, Mike, I think he's following me. And Mike's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, man. And so like, and then the guy gets closer again. All this stuff's going. Now this is all happening within a minute. Like it's not even a lot of
like
time.
few
It's not.
seconds.
It's not a lot of
Yeah.
time. Um,
Yeah.
and it got to the point where I slowed down enough to like kind of like look at you guys, get what you guys get, and then we broke off again, and it kept happening. It got to the point where I said, "No, I'm done." I stop, and I get next to you, and I'm like, "Yo, Antonio, I think this guy is, following us."
Yeah.
At that point, for our audience, the guy walked past us a little bit, but stopped completely.
Yeah, that was really sketchy. Like
That was the dead giveaway he was following us. Dead giveaway, because if your stalker stops stalking, well, continues to stalk while you stop walking, and is like what? He was like 5 feet, 10 feet away from us, stopped walking. That's how you know, okay, this guy's for real. At that point, I see these two women on the other side of the street walk through. I said, fuck it, let's go and try to blend in with them somehow.
Yeah.
And just let's do it, because there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way with a group of this is my stupid mind. There's no way he'll follow 5 people. Well, he's following
Maybe.
3 people, and he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't follow us. What he then did, which is I didn't think you guys didn't see this right away. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. In the city, a lot of brownstones have you got to throw your garbage out, right? So you got bins outside, as you do in a regular house, right? But some people they want to make it look nice. So they put it like in a shed type of looking thing. You could buy them at like Home Depot or whatever. And this building had one outside. It had, whatever. The guy took that. The thing is like 5-something feet tall. Almost 6 feet tall. He takes that and just throws it across
that was crazy.
in front of him. And almost hits a group of people that were walking by. And I'm like, oh, fuck. That could have been us.
Yeah.
So at this point, what the fuck are you thinking?
No, yeah. So during that like weird stretch of things happening, like I said, I pulled back and I was observing him because I felt like that weird vibe as soon as he didn't pass, and he was in his pockets, like as you were saying, he was like murmuring. He was in his pockets, and I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
okay. And I tried to get your eye contact, but it didn't happen because you were like trying to like fake him out, kind of like stop, move forward, stop, fast, slow type of thing. And it wasn't working, so I was like, "Fuck!" And then that's when Mike kind of like stood by me. He was like, "Yo, what's going on? Like, what's happening?" I think Pete said something like that. I said something, and I was like, "Yeah, I think that guy is weird." So I kind of there was a point where we stopped, and I was kind of like trying to like position myself to walk across the street, and trying to, I guess, like subliminally tell you guys like, "Hey, let's go this way."
Right.
And then I think that's when you picked up like, "Okay, let's." You saw the other women, and you're like, "All right, it's a clear cut way to jump out the side and go to the other side of the street." Now, what's crazy is that you're right. I didn't see. I thought he was like. So what happened was on the cross street from where my point of view and my line of sight is like he just moved behind the garbage area, and he was just taking a piss because that's what it looked like.
Right. It did.
But you told me like no, he moved it over to the side, and he was like
so
to jump out.
Like what he did do was he gets to that structure, and he kind of like puts his hand on top of it, kind of like to rest, what looked like he was resting. And then he did that for like a couple of seconds, and then that's what made him, something made him just grab it and just like toss it. And so I think that was his way of being like, fuck, I'm defeated, I didn't get those guys, or whatever, I don't know. And so,
right.
Again, I don't know what's going on through this guy's head. I don't know if he was drugged, I don't know if he was drunk, I don't know if he was mentally handicapped or something. I have maybe it was all above, maybe it was one of two. I have no idea. I don't care because I'm probably never going to see this guy again. Hopefully never going to see this guy again. But I do know what we experienced, which was a little terrifying. At the point when he was still next to me, my complete thought was, I'm booking it at some point. I'm going to have to run, aren't I?
Yeah.
I didn't wake up this morning expecting to run today, but I'm going to
It's like, oh shit, all that cardio is gonna come out soon.
I was gonna shout, run or something, something to get you guys' attention, and hopefully you guys go one way and I go another. I don't know, but like I was, that was gonna happen in my head at some point, because it was either that or we're gonna get stabbed, or get shot, or get or choked, or I don't know. Or thrown into a car. Who the fuck knows? And so we get to what we thought was safe, which it was. We get to the space that I was like, let's start walking a little bit faster to where we have to go. And then I turned around and we thought we saw him again, you and I, but we didn't. And then we never saw him again that rest of the evening. But the killer of all this, I think, is the next day. I'm on the Daily News' Twitter account, and there's an article about a gentleman who basically did just that to people in Harlem and stabbed somebody. And there's a picture of the gentleman, and the guy was wearing more or less the exact same thing the guy was wearing. Exact same, look and everything of the person. And
it really fit our MO.
It freaked you and I out because we were just like, oh my God, there's a very strong possibility it could be this guy. Very strong possibility it's also not the guy, so who knows. But very freaky thing. I know this has slightly happened to me in the past, but not to this extent. I know you've told me a story where this has kind of happened to you.
Yeah. I mean, like certain things happen when you live in certain neighborhoods.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just natural stuff. That's why when I saw that stuff happening, the flicker in my brain switched and it went like, okay.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
It's because we've experienced it before, so we know what to expect. We've been taught, hey, if this ever happens, do this, do this. And that's just good parent. I mean, my dad's a Marine. My dad's taught me a ton of ways to counteract a certain situation in the event someone does attack you. So I applaud that. But to people that don't know what to do in these situations, number one is remain calm. I mean, don't automatically alert the individual. Unless the circumstance calls for it. But don't freak out. Try to cross the street as soon as you can, if you can. If you're with a group of people. If you're by yourself, I wouldn't even know because like that's a whole other animal. That's never happened to me. Again, the last time something like this happened to me, I was with a group of people too. So when you're alone, it's a whole different thing. Always, I know it's illegal to carry certain things in the city, but maybe you have to carry something. I'm not talking about a knife or anything. Maybe I am, but pepper spray. I know I'm not condoning it or not condone. I don't know what I'm condoning. All I'm saying is that some people. I know plenty of people that carry that stuff. So it's just sometimes what you need, I guess. But yeah, it's tricky because maybe the guy wasn't going to harm us. Maybe he was just trying to become friends with it. I have no idea what he was.
Or maybe he was a crackhead. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
yeah, maybe he was just that was his way of like feeling good for the evening is getting close to people. Like I don't know, but I'm glad I didn't find out. Because last thing I want to know is that I'm in like someone's ice bag in a dungeon somewhere in a New York City apartment.
Fucking kidney.
That they don't find my body for like another 35 years because the guy was a respectable man in the neighborhood. They never suspected anything.
Oh God!
Isn't that come on? Yeah. John Wayne Gacy, man, he was part of the community, very tight knit member of the community. They didn't find out for decades. No, I don't think he was going to murder us, but interesting occurrence, I will say. I don't. It was fun after the fact, but it's not something you hope happens to you again.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where you just kind of have to like laugh at.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, because like the alternative, if it went south, is not something funny.
No,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely not. Again, like he could have thought we had jewelry on us. He could have thought he just wanted our sneakers or something. But I'm glad we didn't find out what he wanted or whatever. So, yeah. I mean, I had a good friend in high school, and you know who this person is. I'm just not going to name who they are. In front of the high school. By a person who didn't attend the high school. This was a grown-ass person did this to him. Stole his gold chain right in front of the school. And this is in front of people, other kids and stuff. And the person got away with it, And so my point to what I'm mentioning is it could happen when there's a lot of people and when there's no people around. So, just something to think about is always check your surroundings, always be aware. Think about it. That's what you and I did. we were aware that this was happening for a while. Luckily, and I think we picked it up real quickly too. I don't think it's something that was happening for 10 blocks. It was something that clearly had just started happening. You just gotta, like, when you feel like someone's watching you, yeah, maybe someone is watching you. When you get that feeling, yeah, it's probably happening.
Yeah.
It's
Trust your gut sometimes.
It's a real feeling. It's a real sense, I think. And so, just always check your surroundings. I mean, you and I and Mike have been keen to doing that, being the fact that we are inhabitants of this city. So it's kind of like second nature to us when we walk around anywhere in the country or the world. So but there is a lot of people that do live in the city that, oh my God, they don't even realize when a car's crossing in front of them. So imagine if there was a killer in front of them or on the side of them. They wouldn't even know. But that's another topic for another day. But yeah, I mean, again, always be careful where you're going and all that stuff. So that is our stalker story. What a fun little cherry on top of this. I think a fantastic episode. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you are following us on all the social media platforms. I promise we will get the website figured out. It's just costing me a lot of money right now. And I don't feel like scalping out that cash right now for something that I think might get adjusted and might get fixed anyway in the future. So we'll keep you posted on that. But if you do want to know the latest episodes, just follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. Subscribe to us on all the podcast apps. I'll just give you a few right here. You're probably listening to one on one right now. But just in case you didn't know about another one, I'll tell you them. iTunes, Spotify, of course. You got YouTube, just in case you want to watch something somehow. YouTube, Google Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Podbean, of course. That's where we host our show. So shout out to those guys. And just literally anywhere you can get a podcast. If you have your specific podcast app that you like, we're going to be on there. Don't worry about it. So, but yeah, this has been this episode, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any topics or discussions, just email us at factsnotincluded@gmail.com. Very simple. And check out TeePublic, of course, for our merchandise. Every now and then, TeePublic does do a sale randomly at like freaking 10 o'clock at night, so you just never know. Sometimes 35% off, 40, 50%, who knows, 20%. So definitely check out TeePublic. Just search Facts Not Included. And yeah, do that. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Antonio, you got anything else to say?
Stay safe out there, everybody. Also, cherish life.
Ooh,
because you
very poignant.
You never know. You never know. Anything could happen to you.
Yeah. Absolutely. Ooh,
so yeah.
You had to go there, man. I mean, I get it, but like, you have a good point.
Stay safe out there. Yeah, just stay safe out there.
Yeah, do that. Enjoy your movie going experiences, and enjoy. I don't know, and just enjoy. You know what? Homework for our fans. Go listen to Pop Smoke's music and tell us what you think about it. If you like his music, let us know. If you don't like his music, let us know. And maybe next week we'll talk about some of that stuff on there. But yeah, so peace out, guys. Enjoy yourselves. And like Antonio said, stay safe. Peace out.
Deuces.